Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to The Burning Truth. Hello ladies and gentlemen, dude and dudettes, Matt Burns here, and I will state, apologies for the lateness and whatnot. I will state, I'm basically 12 minutes late compared to the usual time. I will state we did have some technical issues and do apologise for that, but at the same time I'm actually having to record this, unfortunately, with no aircon or any fans on whatsoever due to the location, and I've got no fan in sight. So if it does sound like I'm a bit dry and whatnot at times, that might be why. Or if you hear the clanking of ice, you'll at least know I've decided to try to cool myself off. So apologies for any interruptions of that sort. But I will state, apologies once more for last week, seeing as I was very late to make it known that I would be cancelling the episode due to some duties I was having to perform at FCW, which was that I was doing some FCW commentary. Which I will get into that a little bit later, because it will be linked into a certain subject, or should I say, a certain person that decided to be involved. But more on that later. Let's get down to business and let's get into the news for wrestling. Now, a lot of people have been stating that I know they've been back and forth with the whole John Cena and Nikki Bally. They've broken up, they're back together, this and that. Supposedly, they were supposedly getting back together. There is other arguments against it, that Nikki Bella is also flirting with other people. We don't know the full story. Wait until it's all come out, and I will not be taking it any further than that until there's 100% confirmation if it is a permanent breakup or if they are getting back together. If they do get back together, the first thing that I will state, that's going to be the first comments I guarantee that be made by most of the public, would be, have they done this as a publicity stunt? Now, I know I've actually brought my views in regards to that, which is the fact that if it isn't a publicity stunt, then fair enough, I understand. Relationships can be very awkward, and whatnot, and certain situations can make things very uncomfortable and awkward, and unfortunate stuff can happen. But there can always be a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. You never know. The spark could return and whatnot, and people get back together. It does happen in this crazy world. Sometimes, in regards to it. So I'm not stating I'm a marriage counsellor, far from it, and whatnot. But if it is, it's genuine that they are and whatnot, then fair enough. If it is a publicity stunt, then I'll be very disappointed, very upset, and think that any hatred that they get towards them, if it is a publicity stunt, then it's well deserved. Because if they've done that just to do it's a publicity stunt, then you basically, I understand it might be, to some it might be considered a bit of a knock towards reality and whatnot, but that's just outright stating your public, that's almost like stating to your own fans, they're stupid, we fooled you, we made you believe. Now, I understand that and whatnot, what the whole issue with, with the whole dynamic of wrestling and whatnot, but if it is that you're pulling, you're outline, you're actually faking stuff and whatnot, when you're supposed to be making it reality and whatnot, then you're not really being honest. You're not being forthright, you're not being very honest, so, you you could end up losing fans and whatnot in regards to it. But either way, my personal view is, if it is genuine, then fair enough. I hope nothing but the best. If it is that it's the stage deep down, any hatred towards from the public, well deserved. But other than that, that's just my view on that situation, and I will not be covering it again unless 100% confirmation is stated that John Cena and Nikki Bella are back together, or anything like that any further. Now, seeing as we're on the subject of WWE, seeing as we mentioned John Cena and Nikki Bella, I just thought I'd just have a bit of a brief sign out and go to NXT, which recently they just released a wrestler, or superstar from the NXT roster. And I will state this, I do apologise in advance if I have pronounced the name incorrectly. Zeta, or if you want the full name, Zeta Zhang, I believe it is. I apologise if I butchered it, but, you know, in regards to it, she has been released and whatnot. But the one thing I will state in regards to how Zeta has reacted to it, it's very interesting. She initially had an initial signing in January 2017 and whatnot. She was part of the Mae Young Classic, and now that she's been released and whatnot, we've got a tweet from the Zeta stating, you know, I'll be back. Now, what makes it even more fun is the fact that it's using a clip of Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator. I will state, absolutely brilliant. At least they're having a bit of humour about it. But being released from NXT doesn't mean the end of the world. It could be the fact that she could be going away to do more work and whatnot. It could do some wonders. Who knows? A part of me thinks that they might be doing this just to see if she can reintroduce herself, remake a name for herself, and get noticed again. And then, if that's the case, impossible, it could be their way of trialing to see how serious Zeta is in regards to it. They could be testing it, it could be that, or there could be other reasons. However, I do hope that this isn't the last that we do see of her and whatnot, and I hope that things go all positive, be it on the independent scene or with her returning to the WWE. Hope nothing but the best for Zeta. Now, moving on from that, I want to bring up about Luke Harper. Now, some people might not know this, but anybody who's got a YouTube or the WWE Network, the WWE have been recently doing episodes, a show called formerly known as. Now, this, I will state, is an absolute great idea. Brilliant show, and it allows fans to see the WWE wrestlers possibly how they were before doing the WWE on the independent scenes, how they were growing up. It's as much as a lot of people can say, well, if you're a good guy, you don't be humanising too much. No, but here's the thing. It also shows that they are a human being, B, that they're more relatable than what people realise because, well, for example, Bayley's episode, I will state, absolutely great. I will state, formerly known as, is an absolutely great show. Because so far, out of the episodes I've seen, I know there's, from what I know of, I've seen the Seth Rollins one, I've seen the Bayley one, and I've actually seen the Luke Harper one. Now, I've not seen them in the correct order and whatnot, because I know I've missed the Matt Hardy one at the moment in time and whatnot, but it's definitely one to look into. Now, the reason why I want to bring this up is because I recently watched the Luke Harper one, And what was so interesting is the fact that you don't just see Luke, you don't see Luke Harper being Luke Harper. You see, you don't see him just portraying the fact of his former character Brody Lee and whatnot. He sort of shows himself and whatnot, shows where he's come from, some bad days, some good days, and I think this is a very interesting show because it shows that regardless of it, that yes, they are on top. They haven't just strolled in and whatnot. They've had to work hard at it, and the show actually shows how much they have just worked at it. Like showing former places that they used to wrestle for, former aliases that they used and whatnot. But also possibly showing some, if they have got it with the capable, whatnot, some possible, short clips of it, which shows how they used to look and whatnot. And I will state, it is very interesting to show where they've come from, and I thought it was very interesting in Luke Harper's, especially when he mentions how he changed his character into like a southern trucker, which I actually didn't think. I thought it was very integral to the fact that they mentioned Mike Quackenbush, who is involved with Shakira, a lot of Shakira Pro, which is on the independent scene. Now, straight away, that a lot of the independent. Anybody who knows the independent scene, especially in America, the American independent scene, will know what Shakira Pro is, or know the name Mike Quackenbush straight away. As soon as I was watching, as soon as I heard that name drop, I thought, wow, I did not see that one coming. So it shows that WWE are willing, have got a more like an open door policy, which is, mentioning other companies and whatnot, which is, I think, me personally, is great, because if WWE is also helping smaller, well, not small, more other companies and whatnot, and helping support the independent scene by giving mentions, names and whatnot, then it does nothing but good. It's good for the wrestling business. It's nothing but good, because as much as a lot of people say, oh, I won't watch WWE, I won't watch this, I won't watch that. My philosophy in regards to it is the fact that regardless if you're watching WWE, regardless of if you're watching TNA or Impact Wrestling, regardless if I'm watching the wrestling scene, all of it comes under one banner, which is wrestling. Hashtag watching wrestling. So, or just hashtag wrestling, just in general. Now, straight away, everybody wins if we're all watching wrestling, because we're all wrestling fans, and there's no need for the bitterness. That's just my personal view, but I just thought to give a nice little mention. If anybody wants to check out the show formerly known as, especially the Luke Harper episode, you can actually see, I'm not sure if it's the full episode on YouTube, because that's where I got my first glimpse of it, but you can also watch the full episode, possibly, I think you can watch it on the WWE Network as well, which is just for $9.99, or you can actually watch the footage on YouTube, so anybody can actually get a look into it as much as possible. So I just thought to give that a nice little mention. Now, moving on from that, I will need to be bringing up two subjects in regards to it. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to mention these two subjects, and then end the WWE, talking about WWE with something nice. Now, what I'm going to cover first is most likely going to be a WWE executive being fired, potentially after a ex of theirs got caught spreading online hate. This was reported by the Huffington Post. Now, so I do apologise in regards to this if any names are butchered or incorrectly pronunciated. I will apologise for it, but now former WWE executive Salvatore Salino has been, sort of made former, being fired due to having a connection with a lady by the name of. I daren't even mention this. I'm not even going to mention the name of the person. I've just mentioned his name. I'm not going to mention this person's name because I feel as though they don't deserve their name being mentioned because of what they are spreading. Because I think it is very upsetting with what's being said. Because the one thing I will state, they are a anti-Muslim. Well, they're labelled as a online anti-Muslim Twitter troll, some might suggest. Now, now, in regards to this, Salvatore, the connection to Salvatore was found out by the WWE, and they've had to pretty much, release Salvatore, which condone. I cannot say condolence because it's an ex-wife, whatnot. But at the same time, it's a bit of an unfortunate because the position that he was in, I believe he was the former VP of Global Content Distribution and Development, and was responsible for negotiating television deals for United Arab Emirates, which has a majority Muslim population. Now, as much as I can understand why WWE might have released this person, but at the same time I feel as though he's been cost a job due to an act, which is unfortunate. So I hope Salvatore is able to move on to this and on to pasture greens, on to better business and whatnot, and the fact that the unfortunate of being connected to the ex-wife doesn't cost him any much more and whatnot. But I do think it's a bit unfortunate that he has been fired. But this is, I can understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, in regards to it, if Salvatore didn't mention up, then they could have a bit of an argument and what in regards to it. But in regards to this topic, I will not be bringing it up again, but I will state, it's unfortunate news for the former WWE executive. Now, moving on, I'm going to be now mentioning very briefly in regard to the, there's been a bit of an ongoing trial recently, which is between CM Punk and Colt Cabana versus Dr. Aman. I apologise straight away if I've mispronounced the names again. However, just to state, I will not be covering what's been going on in regards to the trial. If anybody wants to look into further and whatnot, and wants to get, basically, day to day what's been going on and whatnot, they can actually find out some of the day-to-day notes from WrestleZone, which is where I actually got the, where I actually saw it myself. So if anybody does want to go to that, just check, just go to www.wrestlezone.com. But just to state, when you do type that in, it does actually change to www.mandatory.com/WrestleZone. Just to state, not sure what's going on with WrestleZone, if it's been bought out, or if this is if WrestleZone is part of Mandatory. But it could just be due to they've had to make certain changes in, but the website's still going strong. But let's move on from that. But if anybody wants to look into that, I will state some of the stuff that's been mentioned. It goes back and forth and whatnot in very much detail, and they've got notes on it from morning and afternoon notes, so you might have to do a bit of backtracking if you are looking into it. I just thought to just mention it and that will be all I will be covering. I will not be bringing this up again in regards to the CM Punk Colt Cabana, in regards to the trial itself, until a final verdict or and whatnot in regards to, or something absolutely major happens. Now, I will be returning back to WrestleZone shortly, but that will be after the good news for WWE. Well, it's not actually for WWE. It's in regards to a wrestler that wrestles for WWE, which is Curtis Axel, who has just recently just literally released a celebrating tweet. During this week, that he was celebrating his 10-year anniversary. So, absolutely congratulations to Curtis Axel on celebrating 10 years of being with the company. If I'm not mistaken, his Twitter handle is at Real Curtis Axel, and the tweet states 10 years today with WWE, #BTeam, which I absolutely love, the fact that they're running with that. And from the looks of it, the tweet might have been released on June 1st, so, but not 100%, but that is just, I think it is from June 1st when he was with the company. So congratulations to Curtis Axel. I do actually hope this B team does actually work for yourself and Bo Dallas, because, well, I hope the teamwork that you've both got continues, because I think it does work. The name might need a bit of a tweaking. Who knows? But moving on from that, with more news in wrestling, but that's the last of the news in regards to WWE. Now, I want to bring up I want to mention a WrestleZone exclusive interview, which was done on WrestleZone Radio, which was Jay Lethal. Now, I'm not going to be mentioning I'm not going to be putting any quotes in or anything. I just thought I'd just give a nice little mention to it. If anybody's interested in listening to it, just go onto the WrestleZone website or just check out the WrestleZone video on SoundCloud, where he covers some of his injury that happened recently, the tour, on ROH being relevant or remaining relevant, and one of the ROH side's departures, which I kind of agree with him on it, because the person he does mention in the interview has moved on to WWE and whatnot, but I didn't expect, the person in question he mentioned, I did not expect him to go to WWE, but happy that he has moved on. But ROH is still relevant and still carrying on. And the last topic I believe he mentions on his future and trying tag team wrestling. But I just thought to just mention them. I'm not even going to mention what is talked about on it or mention any quotes. Just if anybody wants to read some of the stuff, just go to the WrestleZone website, or literally check out WrestleZone Radio, which is on their SoundCloud, or even you can get it off the WrestleZone website. But anyway, moving on from that, now, as I mentioned earlier, I was at FCW last week. This is the time where I'm going to be bringing up the why I didn't mention it straight away. Now, before I get to the FCW commentary, I'm about to announce that a interview that was announced, but we didn't have an official date of when it was going to be happening, has actually happened, unfortunately, but we can't actually give a release date of when the interview will be released. But I finally managed to get Ryan Parrott. Now, he has been he's trying to make a name for himself. I will give him that, and I do believe in giving chances and whatnot, and that everyone should always have a chance. But I also think that Ryan Parrott should also knock that little chip off his shoulder at times as well, because I believe that when I was interviewing him, he was feeling very entitled, very well. Instead of me talking about the interview, wait until we've actually got a release date, which hasn't come out yet, which is because of due to discussions with Ryan Parrott, because if I'm not mistaken, he's trying to demand money, which I literally stated to him. He asked me for the interview and whatnot, and every previous interview that I've done, payment hasn't, we actually put the offer in if they want to give their time to do the interview for the fans, which I'm hoping Ryan Parrott does listen to and does give to the fans, because you always got to give to your wrestling fans. It's all part of paying your dues. Now that subject will come into play into the interview and whatnot, but I'll let you watch that when it's released. But I will be the release date once we've got a release date and whatnot and time. I will be most likely be announcing that on Twitter, on all social media, most likely on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. So I just thought I'd just mention that, throw that out so everybody, in regards to. But the interview, you couldn't just leave it there, could you, Ryan? You couldn't just leave it there. All I'll state is, Ryan believed he was in charge of the Reigning Truth. Now, as I arrived for FCW for my commentary duties, I was sitting ready to call it all by myself, play by, shooting off the hip, a bit of Joey Styles style. Nah, that just sounds awkward. Bit of ECW style, Joey Styles, format and whatnot. How we used to do it when ECW first was doing pay-per-views and whatnot and DVDs. Now, what I will state, Ryan Parrott decided to join me on my commentary. Now, he states he's taking over, whatnot. And I just laid down the law stating, you ain't taking over. A, it's not your equipment. B, you're not even supposed to be here. And then trying to demand payment, which I thought was really odd, as he's jumped on the mic. So basically you forthright written decided to do it for free. Give him back to the fans. So I thought, why not? Let him have a chance. I will state he does have some knowledge and whatnot. He does need to do some homework at the same time, but and whatnot. I will state he's got something about him. I don't know what it is. He does have something about him that way he can be so talkative, but at the same time, he's one of them people where, if he starts talking for so long, you have the urge to just hit him. You just want to just hit him. But I will state, I know that Ryan Parrott is still trying to get his likes and share counts up on his Facebook page, because he is trying to get his... he's trying to get enough likes and shares to be able to jump onto the show for Nothing But Wrestling. Good luck reaching the count, I will state. You're almost there. Some have been saying, nowhere near. And the thing that's been making me laugh is hashtag Nothing But Ryan. Really? Well, of course it's going to be Nothing But Ryan in his mind. But if anybody is interested in liking and sharing, just jump on his page. It'll be the pinned post at the top. Give it a like and share if you think he is worthy of it and whatnot. Me personally, I might just give him a like and share just to see if he gets his head kicked in. Personally, but either way, it works. It's all part of wrestling. You know, be it even if if he's liked, then like him. If you want to see him get his ass kicked, give it a like and share. Who knows? You can end up seeing getting his ass kicked either way. Either way, liking and sharing gets you a result that you will be entertained either way. But anyway, that's me. That's where I'm going to be mentioning no more further subjects in regards to this week. I know this has been a bit of a shorter episode because I will state it is very warm at the moment, and with no aircon, I'm absolutely boiling. But I just thought I'd just mention some of the subjects. But before I go, some how do I say, cheap plugs? Well, I might as well get my plugs out, which I would like to throw out some plugs out to the UK Wrestle Media, also known as UKWM, JG Printing and Stitching, Changes for Health and Wellbeing. Do recommend checking out their website because you never know. It could end up helping yourself or someone you might know. You never know. Team 4 Star, especially with their Dragon Ball Z Abridged series, but I will state, well, why is it on hold? Bring it back. I want to see more Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I want to mention bands The New Breed and Kamans, and as always, my usual mention of Botchamania. You're welcome, Matthew. I've always got to mention you. Keep up the good work. And I also want to mention YouTube channel Barely Average Studios, a colleague who I've wrestled on the British scene. Fantastic guy, and recommend you check out his channel. And last but not least, I want to recommend you to check out, this is the last plug, which is The Burning Truth, of course. Check out the Burning Truth website, which is www.theburningtruthuk.com. Go on there to check out, if you might be even listening to me live there. You'll also get past episodes of the broadcast, past interviews that I've done and whatnot, blogs, posts which will be coming soon, more blogs, posts coming soon. I also do predictions for big events and whatnot, for example like WrestleMania. I'm not sure if I've got a Money in the Bank one out yet. No, I haven't yet. So hopefully I'll be able to get one out in time. If not, I apologise for it in advance. But hopefully we'll be getting more out, and there's also a links page to all the links that I've mentioned already, in the cheap plug segment. And we've also got a merchandise page where you can actually get some snazzy Burning Truth t-shirts and some mugs, which could be a great gift for family and friends. Who knows? But with that, I'm going to call this a bit of a wrap up right now. So hopefully be checking you out at the next broadcast, which will hopefully be next week. If I am actually cancelling, I will be giving you more of a heads up this time. And who knows? But just before I go, I just thought to give a one mention right now, which is Fusion Pro next week, Saturday. Wonder if we should make a trip up there. In case you want to know where Fusion Pro is, Fusion Pro Wrestling, check them out on their social media. And last but not least, one more shout out, one more plug, is United Wrestling. Hop on their Facebook page because they do actually have a post on there where you can possibly get some free tickets. And I do recommend checking United Wrestling out. It's a great deal. Some free family tickets by just liking and sharing a post. Hop on. You never know, you could be a winner. You know what, I'm going to hop on there myself right now to see if I can win it. Because I wouldn't mind getting some tickets. If I'm not wrestling, I might as well try and get a free ticket. But but with that, I will catch you next week. And as always, stay well, stay safe, and as always, check out your local wrestling.